For my second hour alone, I spent 2 hours by myself near the square, and I left the group when everyone went to go get sweatshirts. And I was familiar with the area, but I didn't know exactly where I was. But I just decided to look up and follow the steeples because I wanted to go to the church. So I went to St. Jan's Church, the red one, and climbed all the way to the top. It's 218 steps. When I was in there, there were two older women working at a visitor information desk, and they were speaking in Dutch, but they had a bunch of pamphlets that were in various languages, and I wanted to try to talk to them and see if there would be a language barrier at all and practice communicating kind of through choppy language, but they were busy speaking with other people, so I just decided to read the brochure and look around, and then when I decided to go up, I got to talk to them because you have to pay to walk to the top, and it turns out that they spoke English very well and just directed me, and I asked them a few questions about the church and the tombs that are there. There's tombstones on the ground, so I thought that that was really cool, and then I walked up to the top, and there were a lot of tourists there, and so when I was walking up, another couple was coming down, and I'm not sure what language they were speaking, but they couldn't understand me, and I couldn't understand them, literally, but we could comprehend what the other person was trying to do, and we worked it out so that we could pass each other. So I thought that was interesting, how body language and motions really, you can communicate even though you're speaking two different languages. And then at the top, I just stayed up there for a little while, and I got to see all of Maastricht, so that was really cool. And then I made my way back down, and after that, that had been about an hour that I spent at the church, so I started on my second hour, all as part of one time. And I went and I bought my mom an apron, but I was just looking and going into stores that looked like they had home ec type things or garden things. So I was walking into them, talking to the ladies that owned the shops. And one of them, where I found an apron that I wanted to get her, I ended up talking to the woman who was at the register, who owned the store, or at least worked there, for about 20 minutes or so. And she said she could tell right away that she thought I was English at first. So it was interesting to hear how she projected maybe where I was from. And then she said after I talked to her for a while, she knew that I was American. She could tell by the way I sounded, but she couldn't tell just from me greeting her and saying hello. And we talked about being at school and just that I'm here for a little while. And that one was harder. We understood each other, but every now and then she would get tripped up, like she thought I had moved here to study and was attending Maastricht University as opposed to just being here for a short time period. So it was interesting that our communication was a little bit harder, but we would just say what we wanted to say and repeat it in a different way, and then we would realize when we would both agree. But she was really welcoming, and she gave some insight into Maastricht, just about the people and how she thinks that it's friendlier here than it is up north in Holland. So that was interesting to hear someone, kind of a native's perspective of their own place. And then I just after I left that store, I just walked through the city, and I made sure that even though it was really sunny, that I didn't wear my sunglasses the whole time, because I think that kind of can block out strangers, or you don't have to make eye contact with people, because that can be kind of uncomfortable when you're walking back and forth and you can see all these people looking at you. So I just squinted down the road and made sure I didn't have sunglasses, and I made eye contact with a lot of different people. It was kind of awkward, but it was interesting to see like reactions I got, or after knowing that she projected that I was English, I was wondering what other people were thinking. But then I just walked home, and I actually ran into Lexi doing her hour alone, so I said hello to her, and then I walked home, and I think the whole thing, I was probably gone for maybe 2.5 hours, but I think it's actually a really healthy assignment to be away from people after you're in big groups for a long time, so I really enjoyed the whole thing.